guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He shares his story about how he married a woman before he got into the Army. And unfortunately, just like a lot of these stories go, the second he had to ship out, all hell broke loose. She took full advantage of him, disappeared, money, got pregnant, all this other stuff, and this guy unfortunately had to deal with it. However, unlike a lot of other stories, this ends on a high note where this guy has the last laugh in the end. And I'm doing this one, guys, once again to show you, to you young guys out there that want to go in the military, and I respect you for doing that, and I thank you for your service that you're doing right now, or if you plan on doing it, do not get married before you go in, okay? If you want to get married one day, that's your business. I disagree with it, but wait until you get out. Because I've done these stories, probably about 5 or 6 since I started the channel 2 years ago, in which these guys get married, have all the high hopes and good intentions in the world, and the second they ship out, or they're deployed, that's when the wives are like, see ya, and they're off to the bars, hooking up with other dudes left and right, and these guys get royally screwed over. And I'm sure many of you guys have seen some of those videos. And to show that these stories are accurate, whenever I do these videos, I get thousands of comments from dudes all over the world, guys that have been in the military or know someone that has been royally screwed over. So I want you guys to learn from these guys' bad experiences so it doesn't happen to you. Can't make that any more clear. That's why I do these things on this channel. So he starts off, he says, hello SSM. When I joined the Army, I was married to a woman I thought was a traditional woman. Smack. No, do not get married before you go in the military. It never ends well. I was the one who paid all the bills with the money that I made. Sandra, my wife at the time, had a part-time job, and I knew she couldn't contribute too much, so I had no problem with that. Afterwards, we always had plenty of money. I came down on orders to Korea, so I sat with her and explained and taught her how to pay all the bills since I'd be away for a year. I'd like to know, how old were you, dude, when you got married? How old was she? Because she doesn't know how to pay bills. She doesn't know how to open an envelope and to pay the electric bill or the gas bill or pay Netflix, which these things you can do online. She doesn't know how to do that. That's a little strange to me. But okay. Maybe you guys are really young. I also added her to my checking account so she could write checks. Sandra ended up maxing out my Kohl's credit card and almost having the car repossessed within 4 months. I had to call the creditors and make arrangements with them to pay everything off. Wow, what a great start to your deployment. What a great girl. She's really responsible. Oh, it gets worse, guys. When I got back from my deployment, I explained that I would be taking over the finances once again. She took this as an attack on her womanhood and got very angry. The hell with her womanhood, she can't obviously be relied upon to take care of business. Maxed out his Kohl's credit card, had the car almost being repossessed. The hell's the matter with her? Unless, of course, that money is being spent elsewhere. So she can't be trusted. Dude, these things alone would be grounds for seriously questioning whether you should be with her at all. I told her she didn't know how to properly handle things financially. Sandra started drinking heavily and refused to sleep in the same room as me until I had orders to go to Korea a second time. I'd say, you're going to cut this bullshit out or we're done. And in my opinion, first of all, he should have married her. I'll make that clear. But then after all this bullshit, he should have really questioned whether she's worth being around. Because remember, guys, it isn't just, there's a lot of things in relationships. But one of them is if you're married to her and you can't rely upon her to handle things properly financially and she's going to screw things up, these are good grounds to walk away. And yeah, you'd have to go through hell. And I'm sure in the military it doesn't make things easy and all that. But what's worse, staying with someone like this that's going to make things horrible and ultimately get a divorce anyway? It's worth thinking about. So he's off to Korea a second time. He says, this time I took her off my checking account and agreed to give her $600 a month for expenses since we lived on the military base. One day, I tried calling Sandra and the number is disconnected. Looks like she left town, but she's still happy to take your money. I called a mutual friend of ours and was told she moved somewhere else, and the friend wishes me congratulations because Sandra was pregnant. Wait a second here. If this guy wasn't around, to have a roll in the hay with her. And by the way, he says she wasn't sleeping with him before he left because she was mad at him for taking over the paying the bills and everything. How is she pregnant unless it's somebody else's kid? But unfortunately, this guy's going to be, people are just going to assume this is his kid. She abandoned the on-post housing and stuck me with a bill for repairs. On top of that, she claimed she had the power of attorney over my checking account and did checks over the phone to pay her personal bills. The damage was $2,400. The money was garnished for my next paycheck. I was furious. I stopped the allotment of $600 to her account since I had no idea where she was. There you go, guys. Now, does this mean that every single relationship in the military is going to be like this? Of course not. Because there's always somebody that's going to say that. SSM, that doesn't relate to everybody. But when I, again, do these videos, and many of you guys have seen them, and thousands of dudes comment that things happen to them or a friend of theirs, there's something to this. What a great girl. What a great situation. And again, I'm assuming that he married her very young. And again, nowadays, guys, I've said this before in other videos, in my opinion, what I've observed, and I'm sure a lot of you may agree with me, the maturity level of kids is worse and worse. So to me, what I've observed is kids graduating college, their level of maturity nowadays seems equivalent to what the maturity levels when I graduated high school. And the kids who graduated high school had the equivalent of maturity levels of when I graduated junior high. So imagine a bunch of kids with a maturity level of a bunch of junior high kids getting married at 18, 19 years old and taking on adult responsibilities like paying the bills and raising children and all that. You see where this gets really screwed up. And we know who to thank for that. The coddling parents, the helicopter moms and dads, this society we're in right now. Anyhow, enough of my little rant there. I was forced to spend an extra 3 months in Korea, 15 months total, because I had to wait for my replacement to arrive. 6 months go by and I'm assigned stateside. I told my first sergeant and commander my situation, and they told me that they got my back. That didn't stop Sandra from going to the JAG, and he says in parentheses, Judge Advocate General, for those of you that don't know, with a screaming newborn claiming I wasn't supporting my dependents financially. She is a piece of garbage, racking up all those bills, then charging things to you, and then getting pregnant, but, oh, well, it's his kid, abandoning you, abandoning all this. Piece of garbage. The military frowns upon not taking responsibility for your military dependents and your bills. So the JAG at Fort Hood, Texas calls the JAG at Fort Lewis, Washington, my current duty station, and informs him of the situation, where I'm not financially taking care of my wife and supposed child. I was ordered to send a money order to her bank for at least 1 month of the basic allowance for quarters. It's not even your kid. And she abandoned you, and this guy has to do this? What a load of bullshit. So again, guys that think it's a great idea to go get married before you go out before you join the military or deploy, think of the crap that can happen to you, because again, they don't mess around, and it's pretty much the guy's going to be responsible for this, and this regardless. When we went to divorce court, the judge went off on her, telling her how I could have filed charges of fraud, and she could be put in jail for her actions. Hallelujah, this guy's getting some justice here. The judge is finally seeing through her bullshit. The judge then asked Sandra how she was going to pay me back. Her response, maybe $20 a month because I lost my job. The judge laughed and told her to pay $50 per month, starting the first of next month. Little did I know, Sandra was several months pregnant while we were in court. So she has that kid the first time with one Chatter Tyrone, and now she's pregnant with another child from a different Chatter Tyrone. What a classy girl. And I lost my job. I love that judge. You're not paying $20, you're paying $50, and it should be a lot more than that. 8 months after the divorce, I received a registered letter in the mail from the state of Texas telling me that they were requesting payment for child support for me, because Sandra was married to me at the time she gave birth to the first child and pregnant when we were getting divorced. You weren't around to do the dirty deed and get her pregnant. I called the number in the letter, explained the child had a different last name than mine, and my ex-wife, and that I was far away, stationed in Korea before the time of conception. And when the first child was born, I was in another state when the second child was conceived. The lady on the phone asked if I could send her documentation proving my whereabouts. I gladly sent her the proof, and I never heard from them again. Thank God. Good. Very good. When I first read this, I thought you were going to tell me that you had to pay anyway, which would have been a bunch of freaking bullshit. He says, oh, and by the way, I never got a payment from Sandra. There's a freaking surprise. I would see if you can contact that judge just to stick it to her after all the kindness she's shown you. I knew there was no way to squeeze blood from a turnip, so why bother trying to get anything from her? She's out of my life, and I never have to see her again. Thank you for reading my story. Well, there you go, guys. It was a quick one in my normal videos, but I thought it'd be a very good one to just a refresher for you guys that are in the military, or those who think about going to the military and have the idea that we're going to be all romantic and meet that girl and have that wedding, and I go off and she waves me goodbye when I ship out, I'm deployed, whatever the hell, whatever it is. No, that's the fucking movies. In reality, this type of shit happens. So if you're going to get married one day, and you know how I feel about that in this day and age, at least for you military guys, wait until you're out. Okay? There's no rush. And if you're fearful that she'll leave you and go off with some other guy, so be it. You're a military guy. Women love guys in uniform. You can get other women, okay? That girl that you knew in high school, that was your girlfriend and you're about to go enlist, she's not the only one. There's plenty of girls out there. And again, it's not like you had the maturity level to be married anyway, okay? In my opinion, I've said this before, guys, if they're going to do it, if they're going to get married anyway, whether it's their religion, their culture, whatever it may be, at least wait till you're in your late 20s, if not close to 30 years old. Get a lot of life experience. Focus on your purpose. Save a bunch of money, etc., etc. Grow the hell up, and then be ready for it. Get married at 19, 20 years old because you're going to be deployed? That's crazy. And I don't want to hear, well, my parents did it, or my grandparents did it, or my godmother and godfather did that. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was a different ball game back then. People had a lot more maturity at a younger age then. So guys, quick story here, just to be careful, but this guy's story ended pretty well, all things considered. It could have been way worse. And I've done stories where it's been way worse. But he's now free from her. He's all the wiser. And now he shares this story with all of us to hopefully help some guys not make the same mistake. And that piece of garbage he was married to, she's somebody else's problem. I just feel bad for those two kids because they're going to be raised to be, trash. It's sad, but it is. And they'll end up just like her one way or another. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Guys, if you ever had an experience such as this in the military or knew someone that did, comment below. Share your stories. Share your experiences. Guys will read this. Young guys will read this, and it will help them. You sharing your comment, you taking a couple minutes out of your time to share an experience or something you knew from a buddy of yours that served and how he got burned, that could be the thing that makes a guy not make that foolish mistake. So the comments are really important. And also, guys, as I always say, if you got a great story you'd like to share with me, whether it's something that happened last week or happened 30 years ago, I don't care. If it's a really good one, something that can help guys out, that you went through a struggle and you overcame and came out on top, or whatever, email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it because it does take some time. I get flooded with emails nowadays, and it's awesome. I'm grateful. I really appreciate your help, guys, but it takes me a while to get to them all. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.